And good morning. Thank you for all coming out this morning. Last night, we had an officer-involved shooting here in the city of Richmond. Approximately at 10:43 last night, in the 1200 block of Garber Street, RPD officers responded to a call of an armed individual. When officers arrived, that individual made a threatening and aggressive move towards officers. Officers pulled their handguns and fired back, striking the suspect. The suspect went down. He was taken into custody and transported to a local hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. No RPD officer was injured as a result of this incident. As with all officer-involved shooting incidents, the department is conducting a thorough investigation. That investigation is ongoing at this time. Now we focus on what is the best practices in some policing, and that is to communicate and be as transparent as we can in all these situations. And I thank you all for coming out and participating in that as well too. As we complete the investigation of course will be forwarded to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office for review. Following the process, it is the department's following that, the Internal Affairs Division will focus on the administrative rules for RPD for the officers. Once again, like I said, the investigation is ongoing. More information will be released at the appropriate time. We are asking that if anyone has any information about this incident to please contact the Major Crimes Division Detective M. Young. And Detective Young's phone number is 804-646-3926. Or contact Crime Stoppers, which is 804-780-1000. Also, our P3 Tips Crime Stopper app is up and going for smartphones as well. Our prayers are with the suspect's family at this time, as well as with the officers who are going through this dramatic and traumatic incident in their careers as well. To go ahead and to try to preempt some of the questions that you may have, I will tell you that the suspect's name is not being released at this time, pending notification to the next of kin. Once that's done, we will give you that name as well too. The officers involved are Richard Redford. He has been with RPD since 2011, as well as Shannon McGarver, who has been with RPD since 2017. You're going to ask, did the suspect, was he armed? Yes, he was armed, and a gun was recovered there on the scene. So we are reviewing the body-worn cameras of the officers, as well as the footage from the security system at the home, and as well as all the other homes in the area. So I'll take questions right now. Your hand's up first, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Can you categorize the call that was initially made about this? I know you said
an armed individual.
Inside
yes.
a residence, correct? Was it a breaking and entering situation, or just armed individual doing what?
Armed individual on someone's porch.
Understood.
All right? And that individual stayed there. So she or the person called RPD, and we responded.
Absolutely, thank you. And as far as the aggressive action, as you put it, I know it's under investigation, but from the body cam and the footage that you guys have, can you categorize what that action was?
He pointed a gun at the officers. The officers gave repeated commands for him to drop the weapon, drop the weapon. He did not. And that's when the officers fired their firearms.
Gotcha, sounds good. Can you talk a little bit maybe just about the overall investigation and where it does go from here, the kind of evidence that will be collected beyond the review of the body cam footage, that sort of thing, just for the people that might not know?
Statements from everyone involved, including the person who gave us a call. The officers themselves have given statements. We will be reviewing and lining that up with all the video evidence that we have as well as just canvassing the area and the homes around there to see what other video and what other statements that we can find out about the subject, as well as, looking into his past to see what may have caused this or what led him up to this particular incident.
Just big picture, there's been quite a few shootings over the past little couple days, right? Can you kind of talk to the violence we've seen in the city over the past 7 days with this kind of, unfortunately?
It's actually, the violence overall is down, but we have seen some shootings here or there, whatever. I didn't come prepared to make the connect or how and I really wouldn't know how they connect in this particular incident. Yes, ma'am.
Are the two officers being put on any kind of paid leave pending the outcome of this investigation?
Administrative leave for 48 hours at this time.
48 hours up, and
yes.
Then, okay.
And then we will reevaluate after the 48 hours. Of course, we have concerns for them as well as the suspect's family and the suspect as well. It's a traumatic incident in an officer's career. It is a lot of emotions that they go through as well. We want to make sure that they are doing well.
And the homeowner, that man was on her porch, no relation, she does not know him?
Not at this time. There was not, that's not something that is clear. We don't believe so. And I think your hand was up and then yours.
What type of gun did the suspect have?
It was a handgun. I'm not going to release what kind it was at this time.
But there's no connection at all to the suspect with the homeowner at this time? There's no kind of clear
Explanation as to what he was doing on that porch? Not at this time. We have no idea.
Was
Yes,
there
ma'am.
anyone else involved or anyone else in the immediate vicinity when this happened?
No, ma'am. The homeowner was inside the home when this occurred.
One quick follow-up. I know you mentioned both officers involved. At this point, do you know if both officers discharged their weapon or if it was one? Is that something that you guys have information on?
And we believe that both officers did discharge their weapon.
Okay.
Did the man fire his weapon?
We believe he attempted to fire his weapon. He did point it at the officers.
And it misfired, or is that unclear?
That could be described that way, but until it goes to our crime lab and that is examined, we're going to hold off to say whether or not if it was a misfire or not. Okay? So we'll let our crime scene people take a look at the gun closely to make that final determination.
Were there other officers on scene besides the two that?
No, just those two. You and then you, sir.
Was mental health an issue?
We don't know. We have no idea. And it's very possible in today's society. We don't know. Yes.
Do you know if the suspect's gun was loaded?
Yes, it was loaded. Yes, ma'am.
After that 48-hour window, I mean, what happens then? I mean, what does that look like in the investigation and stuff?
The investigation continues. The investigation is not put on a 48-hour timestamp. That is for the care of the officers to see how they are doing within 48 hours. We want to make sure that they are adjusting correctly and that we are giving every bit of help that we can and support to them that we can. Okay?
Do you happen to have the stats on how many officer-involved shootings you guys have had over the past year? Is this a rare circumstance for the department?
Off the top of my head, I believe we had one last year. Nope. Actually, didn't we have one last year or was it one the year before when I first got it? No. New Year's Eve. It was right there on the, yeah. So none last year.
So New Year's Eve 2020 was the last.
Yes, yeah. So that was right there on the board. But so that's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Major Edwards. Yes, sir.
Do you know from the length of time from the officers arrived to when they discharged their
It's
weapon?
about 20 minutes. There was another incident that took place at the first precinct at this time that pulled the staffing to that incident, pretty major incident, and the officers came from the third precinct. It took them about 20 minutes to get there. This individual stayed on the porch the entire time.
I'm sorry, it's 20 minutes from their call to their arrival?
Correct.
Okay. How long from their arrival to the shooting?
I can't say. I could approximate that with less than a minute. That's from what I've seen with body-worn camera.
Is there any reason to believe that those two incidents are related?
The one prior to and this one, no. There's no indication that they are related at all.
And that major incident you're talking about in the third precinct is the most recent shooting?
Yes. I will finish up by saying this and being as bold to say that incidents like this seem to be happening all over the country towards officers. This gentleman seemed to have did something that precipitated a call to the police, that precipitated a 911 call, and became aggressive upon the officers getting there. You may even call it an ambush. It's very possible, but we have no idea right now exactly what his actions were, but we do know that his aggression went up upon the officer's arrival. Okay, any other questions? All right, our thoughts and prayers are with the deceased family as well as with our officers. Thank you.